Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, depicts Bruce Lee as a child prodigy who began kung fu under Ip Man at age 9. Bruce's training as a live-in disciple in a remote temple for nearly a decade is a compelling but fictitious account of his early years. The movies claim Bruce was Ip Man's only disciple, trained like a monk in a remote temple, but the truth is more complicated. Bruce didn't learn Wing Chun from his father or become Ip Man's only disciple. How did Bruce Lee start martial arts, and why did Ip Man cease instructing him after a year? Cultural difficulties, jealous classmates, and rivalries impacted Bruce Lee's career. Let's discover the truth. Bruce Lee was famous as a kid actor before becoming a martial artist. The Hong Kong film industry star began acting at 3 months old and continued throughout his childhood. Bruce Lee returned to the US at age 18 with 20 film credits. The glitter of film sets him apart from his tough daily reality. Although famous, Bruce's life was precarious. He lived in Kowloon amid poverty, crime, and street gangs. The glamorous world of cinema was a momentary getaway, but the world needed fortitude and often violence. Bruce got used to Hong Kong's tough streets by age 12. For safety, he created a gang with his mates like many boys. Junction Street 8 Tigers. This gang didn't rebel for fun, about survival. The Triads, powerful criminal gangs that recruited or targeted young males, governed Hong Kong's hazardous streets. Bruce formed this group to protect himself from lurking hazards in every alley. Bruce and his companions struggled to survive in a city where the Triads influenced even the police. Bruce was targeted as a young actor. Recruiting Bruce would make a Triad more prestigious. On the other hand, a Triad child who humiliated Bruce might rise in rank. Bruce realized he was vulnerable without his gang. Bruce didn't approach street fights lightly. It was the lifestyle. His athleticism and competitiveness made him a strong fighter, but these brawls would test his raw aggression. After an especially vicious assault, Bruce realized he needed more than his fists and gang to survive. He needed an organized martial technique to regulate his body and thoughts. This revelation led him to study Wing Chun Kung Fu, which changed his life forever. Bruce Lee began his martial arts career before meeting Wing Chun, but not in the way you may imagine. Bruce was initially introduced to martial arts by his father, Li Wei Chin, a Cantonese opera singer who trained in Taiji Quan, an internal school martial art with slow, flowing movements. Due to its balance and languid motions, Taiji Quan did not teach Bruce good combat skills. The other youngster beat a young Bruce Lee, who tried to employ Taiji Quan in a fight while posing. His early Taiji Quan practice was more about spending time with his dad's old buddies than fighting. Bruce went beyond form. He wanted combat wins. Hung Gar, a formidable southern Chinese martial style, was introduced to him later on in film sets with his father's colleagues producing wuxia movies about Wang Fei Hung. Hung Gar was powerful and beautiful, yet Bruce found it ineffective when he needed it most. Bruce tried these styles, but didn't like them. The streets of Hong Kong demanded something new, faster, and more efficient, and Bruce realized how insufficient his training was after a schoolyard brawl. Bruce faced the son of a powerful Triad member at LaSalle College, a fight that would test him. What began as a fight became much more dangerous. Bruce's fury and street fighting instincts harmed the Triad chief's kid, making what followed even more perilous. Triad members reportedly waited for Bruce after school to settle the score. Bruce had to flee to the teacher's lounge. Bruce may have been expelled from LaSalle College in 1956 due to this scenario, but his problems continued. Word of the fight spread, and Bruce faced a stronger opponent. After Bruce hurt the Triad chief's son, William Chung, a classmate and Wing Chun master, confronted him. After hearing about Bruce's fights, Chung wasn't impressed. Chung was about to prove he was the better fighter with his Wing Chun skills. Remember that William Chung's father was a policeman, and the Triads often influenced the police? William Chung was purportedly sent to avenge Bruce Lee's injury to the Triad chief's son. Bruce was outclassed despite his Tai Chi Quan and Hung Gar skills. Bruce's unrestrained anger looked amateurish compared to Chung's disciplined Wing Chun. Bruce left with more than bruises after the humiliating loss. He sought explanations. Bruce knew for the first time that his raw aggression and unrefined techniques would not succeed against a disciplined opponent. Bruce's pride was shaken by Chung's victory, leaving him searching for solutions. Bruce would make a crucial decision after this loss. Bruce wanted to win battles, not tradition. He was fired up after losing to William Chung. Bruce wanted to be the big brother in every situation. His gang called him Big Brother. Bruce wouldn't like William Chung giving him that L that made him his big brother. Bruce Lee became interested in Wing Chun after being humbled by William Chung in a street fight. Bruce was impressed by Chung's flawless street combat record and asked him how he did it. Chung revealed the answer one day. "Bruce, follow me to learn how I never lose a fight." Bruce accompanied Chung to IP Man's Wing Chun school to learn his friend's unbeatable fighting style. Bruce met Chu Sheng Tin, a senior student and assistant teacher, instead of IP Man. Chu Sheng Tin, the Sinim Tao King, was IP Man's senior student and assistant teacher. When Bruce came, Chu taught newbies Wing Chun basics. Bruce's mistrust was obvious as they faced each other. Street fighting and Hung Gar taught him to study fighting techniques. Therefore, he wasn't impressed. Bruce wasn't thrilled when Chu showed the basic Wing Chun stance. He found the stance excessively inflexible and immovable for combat. He noted that parallel placement allowed a kick, a style weakness. Bruce's analytical mind didn't think this was realistic for fast-paced street fighting. Chu calmly listened to Bruce's criticism without arguing. Chu invited Bruce to test this notion without defensiveness. Chu told Bruce, "Kick me if you think the stance is poor." Bruce paused, joking that Chu may be upset if the kick hit. Chu was unfazed. He confidently challenged Bruce to kick him again. Bruce challenged Chu and kicked his posture, still doubtful but fascinated. Before Bruce could register what happened, Chu blocked the kick with a quick forearm movement and hit Bruce's leg, knocking him down. Bruce recognized then how powerful the position might be and how much he still had to learn. Bruce realized he had underestimated Wing Chun while lying on the floor. What seemed like a rigid, ineffectual stance was the key to a precise, controlled, and efficient technique. Another anecdote has Bruce meeting the school's finest boxer, Wang Xiong Leong. Also, that initial encounter went poorly. Bruce acted with the same assurance as on the streets. Swaying against the wall with one hand in his back pocket, he seemed underwhelmed with the school. Bruce's actions appeared frivolous to Wang, as if he felt he was smarter than everyone else. Wang found Bruce's behavior rude. Later, he remembered Bruce as an Elvis-like child who swayed and seemed too cool to take anything seriously. Bruce's attitude turned Wang off, so he informed William Chung, "I don't want him at school." Bruce was welcomed into the school after some tension. Bruce was precious to Yip Man. Yip liked Bruce's movies and knew his father was from Fatsan. Yip Man, the Grandmaster, was involved in Bruce's early instruction, even though Chu and Wang Xiong Leong were more prominent. Bruce, then 15 years old, began studying directly with Yip Man, according to sources. Yip Man rarely gave private lessons, but Bruce's talent impressed him. He even saw Bruce practicing Wing Chun outside of class. Bruce's early training was closely monitored by Yip Man, who saw his promise. As Bruce's talents improved, Wang Xiong Leong became increasingly involved in his coaching. Wang, recognized for his practical fighting talents, understood Bruce's desire to win street fights against his contemporaries. Yip Man monitored Bruce's progress and offered advice when needed. Bruce learned Wing Chun via friction, humility, and progress. Bruce's growth from street fighter to disciplined martial artist was aided by Yip Man's direct engagement and Wang Xiong Leong's hands-on instruction. Yip Man's school became more tense as Bruce studied Wing Chun. Kung Fu was largely practiced by working-class males. Their only options after work were movies, hobbies, or staying home in a tight apartment. Yip previously taught older restaurant workers' union pupils. Men sought Wing Chun for self-defense and discipline. The atmosphere changed when younger students like Bruce wanted to exploit the art of street fighting. Bruce and his companions troubled older classmates. It wasn't meditation or method practice. They aspired to master street fighting and dominance. The older guys felt the street brawler-hungry teens were taking over their school, formerly a place of discipline. These teens disrupted the balance, turning a quiet training area into a competitive one with simmering rivalries. Bruce wasn't a typical eager student. He was targeted. The older students resented his Wing Chun practice, especially Chi Sao drills. Bruce, a smaller student, was routinely outclassed by the older, stronger students in these fights. Traditional Wing Chun Chi Sao drills were designed to teach sensitivity and control, but Bruce's elder classmates used them to punish the brash young actor. His rising skills and occasional attention from IP Man and Wang Xiong Leong made them jealous. Bruce's attitude and competence weren't the only issues, something deeper. Bruce had mixed ancestry. Grace Ho, his Eurasian mother, came from Hong Kong's powerful Ho clan. Grace's uncle, Sir Robert Ho means Holland, was Hong Kong's richest man. Since he had such a prominent name, rumors flew regarding his lineage. The latest research on Bruce's lineage suggests that Grace's mother, Shanghai Po, was partly Russian. Bruce faced hostility due to his heritage ambiguity. Bruce's mixed ethnicity was a challenge to traditional Chinese martial arts, which the Chinese community ardently cherished. One of Bruce's classmates thought Wing Chun should only be taught to Chinese people. That discrimination made Bruce's environment unpleasant, and soon whispers became requests for his expulsion from school. In addition to whispering, older pupils acted. Bruce was attacked more during sparring, and many refused to practice with him. Due to frequent discrimination and harassment, Bruce became concerned about developing his skills. He realized that beating his enemies was the only way to get respect. Peter Lee, Bruce's older brother, remembered how Bruce grew obsessed with training. He spent hours learning Chi Sao to overcome the bullying, and eventually the bully became the bully. The whispering increased. Bruce's skill and heritage made him a threat to the older classmates. He was isolated since they wouldn't train with him. IP Man was even asked to expel him from the school because some believed a mixed-blood person should not master their craft. School tensions boiled over. Bruce got more aggressive in sparring, knowing that every training session was a test of his talent and right to be there. Bruce persisted despite bullying, racism, and loneliness. He worked harder, rehearsing his maneuvers late at night. He recognized that only by outperforming his critics could he acquire respect. His skills improved, but so did his resentment, until something had to happen. The tension in IP Man's school was breaking. Many of the older pupils who had been there since Yip started teaching out of the Restaurant Workers Union hated Bruce's presence. While Bruce had earned his spot by skill and effort, the classroom air was becoming toxic. IP Man saw this animosity. Yip respected Bruce's dedication, but understood school dynamics. Bruce found it inhospitable, leaving IP Man in a bind. Yip saw Bruce's promise, but he also saw that the school's rising antagonism threatened unity. Senior classmates were pressuring Bruce to leave school. His mixed race and rebelliousness challenged IP Man's traditions. Yip made a decision to let Bruce continue his training and keep receiving tuition while keeping school calm. Yip Man trusted his best student, Wang Chung Lung. Wang had become Bruce's unofficial mentor at the school, so Yip tasked him with continuing his training outside of the main school. Bruce's training with Wang Chung Lung shifted to Wang's father's flat, where other teenage students were also studying, and Bruce's talents were further honed in this no-frills environment. Bruce could focus on learning Wang's real-world fighting skills without the commotion at the main school. Wang's teaching technique was perfect for Bruce. Wang's instruction centered on fighting and adapting to real-world situations, unlike the main school's regimented courses. Bruce's greatest lesson was this. Bruce had always wanted this. Philosophy and principles weren't his priority at the time. He only desired battle dominance. Wang Chung Lung's Beimo street fighting skills were the right teacher for Bruce's emerging technique. A Yip Man strategically sent Bruce to train with Wang. Yip let Bruce grow while maintaining school peace by sending him to train privately with Wang. Bruce's journey changed. Yip Man stopped teaching Bruce directly without rejecting him. It was crucial to Bruce's martial arts development. Wang Chung Lung guided Bruce's focus to real-world combat, setting the groundwork for his invention of Jeet Kune Do and the martial arts revolution. Bruce's martial arts training intensified after leaving Yip Man's main school. Bruce's ambition under Wang Chung Lung's guidance and free from senior students' antagonism was to dominate real-world fighting. Bruce focused on Wing Chun's practicality while training privately with Wang Chung Lung. Bruce was pushed by Wang, the king of the talking hands, for his Chi Sao and real-world fighting skills. They practiced each method for precision and efficiency. Bruce was committed and relentless. Bruce practiced for hours a day outside of Wang's sessions, perfecting his technique and pushing his body. Bruce practiced on rooftops and alleyways, and even pulled unsuspecting street people into fights. Bruce went downstairs dressed like that. Teenagers or potential challengers would approach him and stare, any gaze. He stopped and asked, "What are you seeing? Is my appearance odd?" Naturally, some will say, No, I'm sorry," and go. Some ask, "Who do you think you are?" Whenever possible, he said, "Okay." A fight or scuffle will start. Bruce learned street fighting since that was the only way he could gain experience. Wang Chung-lung mentored Bruce, shaping him. Bruce learned Wing Chun via forums and in battle under Wang. Wang, a champion of Hong Kong's rooftop challenge battles, knew how to win. Bruce was more interested in street tactics than tradition, so this approach resonated. Bruce was a voracious learner. He often interrupted other pupils to get one-on-one time with Wang. Bruce was unequaled in his ambition to learn and perfect new methods, so Wang pushed him harder each time. Bruce's Wang Chung-lung training paid off soon. Bruce challenged Gary Elms, the defending champion, in an inter-school boxing event at King George V's School in March 1958. Bruce had to box under rigorous guidelines and wear 8-ounce gloves. Unlike his subsequent film's fast-paced martial arts scenes, Bruce defeated his opponent unanimously. He completely surrounded his opponent, trying Wing Chun with boxing gloves. Bruce won the battle, but Queensberry boxing rules forced him to retire from combat sports. Bruce then faced 2 BAMO challenges, Hong Kong's legendary rooftop fights, shortly after his boxing contest. British law prohibited crossing hands challenges, therefore, they were held secretly on roofs or in hotel rooms. Wang Chung-lung, a match veteran, mentored and refereed Bruce's final match. Bruce easily defeated an inexperienced opponent in his first BAMO match, but his second match tested him. Bruce fought Cholabfoot veteran Chung in his second BAMO encounter. Bruce would be tested in this fight. Bruce hesitated in the first round, as Chung made several strong blows. Bruce was frightened by his black eye and bloodied nose. Bruce almost resigned, but Wang Chung-lung advised him to let his hands loose in the second round. Bruce overpowered Chung with chain punches and won the match. Bruce's abilities and determination to overcome a significant hurdle were shown in this victory. Bruce's boxing and BAMO's successes were just the start. These experiences and his intensive training under Wang Chung-lung shaped his excellence. Bruce never came for only the win. Evolution, breaking tradition, and finding martial arts' actual meaning were key. Bruce Lee's martial arts path went beyond Wing Chun, yet IP Man was influential. IP Man taught Bruce simplicity, directness, and practicality, which guided his progress. Bruce learned efficiency from IP Man. Bruce founded his martial arts philosophy on Wing Chun's economy of motion, centerline theory, and simultaneous attack and defense, which he later expanded into Jeet Kune Do, a combat-focused system that eliminated unnecessary movements. Bruce incorporated these teachings into his technique. Bruce learned to feel an opponent's energy, predict their motions, and respond quickly and precisely from Wing Chun's sticking hands exercise, which became central to Jeet Kune Do. IP Man exposed Bruce to Taoist concepts like yin and yang. But Bruce's spiritual journey went beyond martial arts. Bruce's concept of adaptation and self-expression was influenced by Jiddu Krishnamurti, Alan Watts, and other Western philosophers. His famous motto, "Be like water," was steeped in Taoism and mirrored his investigation of adapting to every circumstance. Bruce believed martial arts were more than fighting. They lead to self-discovery, growth, and expression. He integrated Eastern and Western ideas to promote lifelong learning and adaptability. Bruce was influenced by IP Man's practicality, but he wasn't content with any system. Bruce used Western boxing, fencing, and grappling to improve his fighting skills, building on Wing Chun. Bruce's Jeet Kune Do straight lead punch was based on Wing Chun's centerline philosophy and refined with fencing footwork. This adaptation, like many others, displayed Bruce's relentless pursuit of perfection by combining the finest of every martial system he learned. Bruce's films were influenced by IP Man's worldview. Bruce made battle choreography more realistic in martial arts films. He avoided the flowery moves of traditional martial arts films and instead used realistic, efficient Wing Chun techniques. Bruce showed in Fist of Fury and Enter the Dragon that martial arts should be about efficacy, not style or tradition. This technique, based on IP Man's lessons, revolutionized martial arts films and influenced generations of fighters and filmmakers. Despite developing his own martial arts philosophy, Bruce never lost his roots. After returning to Hong Kong in 1963 and 1965, he sought out IP Man to learn from him and filmed his tactics to teach his U.S. students. This visit showed Bruce's regard for his teacher. Bruce would later revolutionize martial arts with Jeet Kune Do, but he always acknowledged IP Man's influence, bringing movie tickets to his old school and speaking highly of him. Bruce Lee was greatly influenced by IP Man. IP taught Bruce simplicity, directness, and adaptability, which inspired Jeet Kune Do. In addition to methods, IP Man taught Bruce the significance of always pursuing truth in combat, a notion he would take with him for life and revolutionize martial arts and movies. Bruce Lee's journey was difficult, but his triumph showed his unwavering persistence. Bruce encountered discrimination, animosity, and many difficulties from Hong Kong's packed streets to traditional martial arts schools' closed doors. However, he persisted. Bruce earned his foundation from IP Man and Wing Chun, but his passion and refusal to be limited by tradition set him apart. IP Man said Wing Chun's practical instruction was crucial to Bruce's development, and Bruce himself said Wong's teachings improved his fighting skills. Bruce's passion to create and willingness to break style limits were key.